Hey there, my name's Jesse, and you're listening to the Deep Lore Boys podcast.
Sneaks into your house, pulls your hair, and then runs away.
Dude, it finished the Skittles ad only to show me another Skittles ad.
Hello, Deep Lore.
All right, y'all, buckle up. Get your diapers, pants are about to be peed, and we are not responsible.
This is a spooky one.
We should talk about the War of the Worlds drama, the radio drama.
Oh, that's some spooky stuff. Yeah, that's right on time for that.
So, the War of the Worlds 1938 radio drama. Basically, what happened is in 1938, there was a War of the Worlds radio drama. It started by saying like, oh, you've joined this radio station. Hey, how you doing? This is a drama. This is a fictitious drama retelling the events of H.G. Wells' novel War of the Worlds.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air in The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells.
So it was Orson Welles was the guy who presented this.
Yes.
A very famous actor from the time. And I also want to get something very straight here because this confuses everybody. H.G. Wells wrote The War of the Worlds.
Yes.
Orson Welles presented The War of the Worlds and also played in movies that had a dystopian theme.
Yeah.
George Orwell, and this is where this gets even more confusing. George Orwell wrote books that also had dystopian themes. Not to be confused with Orville Wright and Orville Redenbacher, who were both scientists from the Midwest.
How do you get those confused? At what point are you?
Orville Redenbacher, I have never gotten mixed up, but the other three I get mixed up.
Yeah, and don't get these guys mixed up with Colonel Sanders, by the way. You know, he's out there too.
A slight atmospheric disturbance of undetermined origin is reported over Nova Scotia, causing a low-pressure area to move down rather rapidly over the northeastern states, bringing a forecast of rain accompanied by winds of light gale force.
The radio program opens as a simulation of a normal evening radio broadcast. So there's weather and there's music. And then afterwards, there's like this news flash about these strange gas explosions on Mars. What's going on with that?
Ladies and gentlemen, following on the news given in our bulletin a moment ago, the Government Meteorological Bureau has requested the large observatories of the country to keep an astronomical watch on any further disturbances occurring on the planet Mars.
So many people joined in midway through that they didn't know that it was a theater presentation.
Well, because didn't they have something else that was on air that was already taking all of the attention? And so most of the people weren't paying any attention to the first half of it, and all they heard was the second half.
It all sounds very believable and natural. And again, if you just tuned in halfway through, like so many people did, you wouldn't know, oh, this is a pre-produced thing. You would just kind of be taking everything at face value.
Apparently, it was believable enough that people were able to listen to this on the radio and genuinely were convinced that aliens were invading the planet.
Well, all you had to do to act back in this time in history was just talk like this, and everybody just took what you said at face value. Oh my goodness, Matthew's got a knife. He's got a chainsaw. There's a worm rat zombie. Oh my stars.
Man, I want to talk like that too, but I genuinely don't even think I can. I don't even know how you.
Then there's news of this meteorite landing on Grover's Mill in New Jersey, and they flash to, a crowd is gathering, and there's reporters there, and they're talking about this strange cylindrical object, and what is it? Oh, and there's been these weird explosions on Mars. What's going on?
Something wriggling out of the shadow like a gray snake. Now it's another one, and another one, and another one. They look like tentacles to me. Oh, yeah, I can see the thing's body now. It's large as a bear. It glistens like wet leather, but that face, ladies and gentlemen, it's indescribable. I can hardly force myself to keep looking at it. Humped shape is rising out of the pit. I can make out a small beam of light against a mirror. What's that? There's a jet of flame springing from the mirror, and it leaps right at the advancing men. It strikes them head on. Lord, they're turning into flames. Oh, the whole field's caught up by the woods, the barns, the gas tanks of the automobiles spreading everywhere. It's coming this way now, about 20 yards to my right.
And then, like, the mic cuts out, and there's just dead air. And that is when people
really freaked out about that. Yeah, people could not deal with that, apparently.
What really made people fall for this is that Orson Welles did a fantastic impersonation of the president, and radio was new at the time, and everyone knew what the president sounded like.
Oh.
So when they heard that voice, they took it at like face value. They were just like, okay, like clearly this is the president speaking on this.
Yeah, wow. I didn't
Oh,
know
that's
that.
interesting. Okay.
Wells was only 23 years old at the time.
And there's also, I didn't realize this, but it turns into like a battle.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, it totally escalates.
yeah, they switch and now they're like, oh, there's a fight breaking out. Like there's explosions and there's bombs going off and like there's a big Martian tripod machine and it's shooting people. Eventually, a news reporter transmitting from atop the broadcasting building describes the Martian invasion of New York City. 5 great machines wading the Hudson like men wading through a brook. Black smoke drifting over the city, people diving into the East River like rats, others in Times Square falling like flies.
First one is crossing the river. I can see it from here, wading the Hudson like a man wading through a brook. Martian cylinders are falling all over the country. This is the end now. Smoke comes out, black smoke drifting over the city. 100 yards away. X2L calling CQ, New York. Isn't there anyone on the air? Isn't there anyone?
That's basically the end of the program, which has got to be like so spooky.
I do remember hearing that there was a power outage that happened in like Oregon, and a whole bunch of the people in the town thought that it was part of this and fled for the hills, like fled for like the forest nearby. I don't know if that's true, but
they got, I guess, 2,000 letters mailed to Orson Welles and the FCC. Not many people apparently fled their homes or otherwise panicked, but some did. There's a story about somebody like shooting down a water tower because they saw it and thought it was a tripod. I don't know if
you
that's
would have to be
crazy.
really dumb to do that. Like that would be
I don't
like
know.
Like, I feel like that you can't even blame Orson Welles for it. Like, that's just an idiot.
If you are a slightly intoxicated West Virginia native, you know, you hear this broadcast.
You're living in the 30s and you're like, oh
And you're living in
man,
the
I better
30s, man.
defend my homeland. And you go out with your rifle. And this time too, a lot of people I think hear this and they're like, wow, these people must have been really stupid to believe that there's aliens attacking. This was a time where people had nobody had been to the moon. There were no pictures of Mars. People couldn't just look at that. Like they didn't know what this was. And so a lot of people saw no problem with there being aliens on Mars or even on the moon or anything like that. That was totally within the realm of possibility for a lot of people. And like a lot of people just genuinely believed that. And they're like, yeah, why not? You know, there's weird stuff out there. And they would see reports of like, oh, cool UFO sighting here and this and that and the other. There was no concept. So the idea of aliens invading wasn't really that far-fetched. And it also hadn't been like exhausted by Hollywood over and over again. It was a very new and present concept. Like it wasn't this classic media trope that it is today.
Yeah.
It was pretty new then. So it really did seem like a very feasible, practical. I mean, Pluto had just been discovered 3 years prior. We just found there was a whole new planet out there that we didn't know about.
UFO sightings in general, like we take flying saucers and little green men for granted because they've just always kind of been a part of popular media. The real like UFO flying saucer green men craze didn't start until after the end of World War II when we bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yes,
that was when a lot of the UFO craze started. Before then, there are UFO sightings, but they were mostly chalked up to like, oh, I wonder what the Germans are doing.
Yeah.
You didn't jump to the alien hypothesis.
That's what I was saying. Like it was something that the idea of aliens being around was very much still up in the air. It wasn't like I'm confident this is what it is and there's aliens everywhere. It was just kind of, yeah, there totally could be. I've never been to the moon. I've never been to Mars. I don't know what's going on up there.
The War of the Worlds broadcast went on the air shortly after 8 p.m. Eastern time. At 8:32, one guy got up, went into the control room, took a call, and came back and was like, guys, our superiors are really mad, and they're saying we need to interrupt the broadcast to announce that this is fiction because people are going kind of crazy. And I guess a few policemen trickled into the room. Soon it was full of policemen, and there was a massive struggle going on between police, page boys, and CBS executives who were trying to prevent the cops from busting in and stopping the show. So, like, there's literally police trying to break in and, like, stop this broadcast from happening, but they just kept going with it?
Dude, okay, can you
It looks like they
imagine?
stopped it a minute before their scheduled break.
Wow,
Which
okay.
I think at that point is just stupid. Like, at that point, just go for it. Like, just wait until the break.
Dude, if the police, I'm just saying, like, today, if something like this had happened and the police showed up and just like stopped the recording or like the show in the middle of it, everybody would be saying that that proves that it was real and that was like a government cover up and they were trying to hide
Right,
it.
yeah.
Everybody would be saying that. Maybe that wouldn't be the same back in these days, but like,
Oh my gosh. So the Chicago Tribune opened by blaming the audience for its gullibility, and I'm quoting from the Wikipedia here. They said, "It would be more tactful to say that some members of the radio audience are a trifle retarded mentally."
What?
Yes.
They used the
Jeez.
R word, y'all. Can we
Okay.
post that?
Okay, yeah, Jackson, we're gonna have to cut that. Okay,
And that
man.
many a program is prepared for their consumption.
So actual broadcasting time was 40 minutes. In less than 40 minutes, a meteorite lands. The army, like the military, has been militarized. Everybody's moving everywhere. They held cabinet meetings. They got the president on board. They fought battles on land and in air, and then ultimately destroyed an entire city in the span of 40 minutes. And so
Right.
part of it was also who is Houseman here? Is that the guy who ran the whole thing? Is basically that's
Not
him
sure.
saying like people cannot possibly be this stupid to think that within 40 minutes it goes like they're. But I mean, he does put it, and millions of people accepted it emotionally, if not logically.
It does look like the overall panic that it caused was slightly overblown by newspapers at the time.
A newspaper in Australia seems to have said, never in the history of the United States had such a wave of terror and panic swept the continent.
Oh,
But
wow, okay.
later research was like, yeah, nobody was like admitted to a hospital for shock, like the newspapers said. You know, there weren't people looting and rioting and freaking out and trampling each other to death like had been initially reported. A few suicide attempts seem to have been prevented when friends or family intervene, but no record of a successful one exists. And you know, the family of somebody who committed suicide because of this broadcast would have been suing. Whatever level of national panic or hysteria it caused, it did change how radio broadcast and stuff would proceed from then on forever. Like, this is kind of the incident that people look back on and go, okay, there's some ethics to radio. We cannot just broadcast literally anything.
Actually, though, this is like the FCC starting to take over. Apparently, the FCC actually legit ruled that freedom of speech does not apply to radio and television. The First Amendment, people are always like, oh, I have the right to say whatever I want. The First Amendment makes it very clear that you are not to incite violence with your speech. You are not to like harass others. Like, you can't scream fire in a crowded movie theater. Common sense still does apply.
Yeah.
But like FCC did rule that like even that doesn't apply.
It depends too, because there's a conflict of interest. Like, if you are the radio company at the top and you've got a bunch of these stations that are under your umbrella, you know, you built the towers and everything, however it works, you might not want people to play communist propaganda or War of the Worlds broadcasts that are going to panic people, because that's going to like ruin your business. And if you own the towers, I guess I understand that side of it. Like, if I have a YouTube channel or a podcast like this, I don't want just anything being said because it might ruin my podcast. That's totally different than
A government
like making
restriction.
it a government restriction. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like
Yeah.
this was slightly blown out of proportion, and I think the FCC was like, hold on, this is something that we can take control of.
Oh, do you think they used it just to get
yes.
more?
Yeah, that's
Was
what
the
it's looking
FCC
like.
really around at this point?
They were brought up in the story.
Okay.
They are definitely very hard to please these days. I work in radio, and the FCC is like,
I know they're very picky. Yeah, I do know that.
yeah, they're scary. Do you guys want to talk about, there's another broadcast that actually caused more damage, I would argue, than War of the Worlds, called Ghostwatch. This was a
Oh
1992
yes,
British
dude, I
horror
love
documentary.
that.
Do we want to touch on that a little
Oh
bit?
my god, Ghostwatch is goated, dude.
We don't have to
Seems like,
spend a
is
ton
it
of
a
time on it,
television
but
film?
Yes, Ghostwatch is a movie, and it was, oh my god, dude. Actually watch this movie. Okay, just saying.
It has 100% on Rotten
Yes,
Tomatoes.
it's so good, dude.
so this was a similar thing where Ghostwatch was this broadcast that played on Halloween night in 1992. It was set up like, hey, welcome, it's Halloween. There's this haunted house and lots of weird things have been happening here. So we've got a camera crew here. We're going to stick around all night and look around for this ghost and see if we can find him. And we've got the family that's living in this house, this mom and her daughters, and they're going to be joining us. It was made more believable that they had what was his name? Michael Parkinson on. He was a late night talk show host that people trusted and people knew, and
Yeah.
the fact that he was on this added an extra layer of believability. And there are really subtle things, like there's a scene where the mom turns off the light in the girl's bedroom and they go to sleep, and they have curtains by their window, and you can see this like creepy human silhouette in the curtain, but none of the cameramen acknowledge it. It's like they don't see it. And then later on in the program, they're like, we're getting calls from listeners saying that there is a creepy like old man behind their curtain. Let's go back and look at the footage. And it's there. And it's like such a good way of making it believable. It's not like a cheap jump scare.
Yeah.
And it just escalates from there.
They did a really good job on this movie.
I'm actually
I'll just
watching
say,
parts
like,
of it right now. It
oh
does
my
look
god, dude.
really cool. It keeps interrupting it with Skittles ads. So
Oh,
once
yeah.
I actually get the Skittles ad out.
Dude, you gotta buy Skittles, man. Right
Dude, it
now.
finished the Skittles ad only to show me another Skittles ad that was slightly longer. Like it really wants me to buy these.
Are they
Man,
like
you
old
gotta.
Skittles, like in the program itself? Like, are they from 1992?
I'm on a third Skittles ad. Okay, this site's busted. Hold on. I'm
Jackson,
going out.
are the Skittles ads like stuck as reruns from the program, or are they like new modern Skittles ads being played by the website?
It looks like it's
What do you mean it looks like? You should be able to know.
What is it? Is it?
What is going on?
I think it's reruns from the program because it looks like really like vintage, but I don't know because at some point they go into the house and been wondering this, and at some point they go into the house and like everyone's head starts turning around.
And then there's a Skittles ad.
It looks like it's a modern house. Like it doesn't look like it's something from like the 90s.
I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the Skittles ads, Jackson.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the Skittles ad looks like it's modern day, but like it's like the
But you
font
can't
comes up and
tell.
like it.
Is that like, I feel like it should
Jackson,
be fairly
I'm watching.
clear
Okay,
whether or
I just
not
went to
it's-
this website right now. I also just got a Skittles ad, and I'm telling you right
Oh.
now, this is a new ad that the site is playing. And oh yeah,
Is
look at
this
that! Just
ad-
ended one, and now it's going to go to another one. Let's see how
Is
many
this
more
website
ads.
like dedicated to Skittles?
Apparently, yeah.
Why do they
apparently,
only
'cause
play
holy-
Skittles ads? What? Skittles aside, the program begins to escalate because the ghost starts like ripping things off the walls. Also, at this same time, Michael Parkinson is like in a studio away from the house, like kind of commenting on all this, and he's getting more and more concerned. And what ends up happening in the end, this sounds kind of bizarre, but the program does a good job of like making it spooky. Uh, they basically like accidentally release the ghost and it starts like haunting, it's like possessing members of the camera crew, and then it possesses the camera, and then it's like released into the broadcasting system, and now it's like destroying the studio that Michael Parkinson is in. Like the ghost is possessing TV itself. So it goes to like really crazy lengths, but that's how the program ends, is like the studio's destroyed, the ghost is out, and now no television is safe. Pipes has escaped.
How long did this program air for?
91 minutes.
Wow.
Children all across England were absolutely traumatized by this.
Well, because it, for being just like a movie to play on TV, like I think that it was kind of presented as like a kid's movie, like a kid's broadcast, and it's a little spooky for like children. Like it's a little much.
There's like
Like, it is a
references
little
to
much to
cat
deal with.
mutilation, and there's kids
Yeah.
getting locked like under the stairs, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's got some gruesome scenes in it and stuff. Like it's a little spooky.
So why was this aired as a children's program?
Well,
I don't.
that's part of the controversy. I don't
Yeah,
think it was played like on a children's
it wasn't
channel,
intended
but
for children, but I think the idea was kind of that it would be. In this case, it wasn't like grown adults thinking it was real. I'm sure some of them were, but it was a lot more children who were staying up
mhm.
watching it on Halloween, not realizing that it wasn't real because this talk show host that they've seen before, he's talking about it. It's on TV. It's being presented like it's real. So why would it not be?
But it kind of culminates in a really sad way. There was an 18-year-old factory worker named Martin. He had a mental age of 13. He had learning difficulties, and he died by suicide 5 days after the program aired. He had a faulty central heating system in his family's home, which caused the pipes to make noise, and that was part of the poltergeist
That
activity
was
in
a
the
huge
program.
part of it was the ghost was knocking on the walls.
Yeah, and he left a suicide note reading, "If there are ghosts, I will be with you always as a ghost."
Yeah.
So,
No, it was
really, really sad.
it's hard to really it's one of those cases where like you can't just say outright this is what caused it, but it definitely accelerated whatever he was going through. Unfortunately, that case is kind of always linked to this movie. Like I feel like you can't really talk about this and how it really scared the whole nation and then not talk about how like it literally actually took somebody's life.
I've heard that it kind of contributed to the change in how broadcast ethics developed. So that's the story of Ghostwatch. You know,
There we go.
if you had a nickel for every time the Deep Lore Boys talked about a broadcast that freaked people out, you'd have 2 nickels now.
Yeah, 3 if people are scared of us. I mean,
That's
that's
Be afraid.
So, firstly, I'm just going to put this out there. This town is spelled Hexham. Can you think of a spookier town than Hexham? Okay. There's a town in England. Just such a cool name. Okay. Love it.
Hexham is the spell I use to ruin my enemy's Easter dinner.
Yes. That's man, that is stupid. All right. Thank you for that. It's actually a really nice town, I gotta say. So Hexham is an old town in England with a lot of history. This town's been around for a while, and one day back in 1971, there were two kids, both brothers named Colin and Leslie Robson, were digging in the garden. They were just playing around in the mud, digging around. They dug up just a pair of strange like stone carved heads. They were old, from what they could gather. I mean, these things were old. This town was already really old, and it's assumed kind of predated the town itself. They were given to somebody named Anne Ross, who was an expert in Celtic artifacts. She claimed that they were venerated as a symbol of divinity and the powers of the other world, the very seat of the soul, is how she put it.
So Anne
Long story
Ross
short,
said that that's what they were.
yeah, that's basically the idea, was that these were ancient Celtic artifacts that had been dug up and collected.
Well, I see the drawing of them. Do we have actual photos
Oh, the
of
drawing
them?
doesn't do them justice. Okay, you gotta look at this here. This sparks so much joy every time I look at this image.
They're not like,
Just look
oh,
at those. Just look at them.
ah.
I love them so much. Okay, like I love this to death.
Could
Just
we not get a better
phenomenal,
camera? What was this like?
this was 1971. Like this is
What?
like it's just, oh my god, dude.
This picture looks like it was taken in somebody's closet.
the only thing we have of these is just this one photo that we can't even confirm the date of, and this awful drawing that looks like it was made simply for the sake of being in a newspaper.
There's multiple, dude. Just Google Hexham heads. There's multiple
Oh,
photos.
no,
of
no,
them.
no. It does
These
look
are
like
these are.
are
It's not
okay.
just a fictional. They very much do exist in the real world. Like they are very real
Oh.
objects.
Oh yeah,
Like,
okay. There's lots of better
that's-
pictures, and
yeah.
they're small. They're
Yeah,
very
they're not
small. I
large.
didn't
No,
realize how
they're
little
small
they were.
little. They're just little stone carvings, and they're very real. Like they're not fake. Now, what might be fake is apparently what the heads did. Apparently, while these kids, so they found them in the garden, they took them home because they're like, wow, this is really cool. It's like an old artifact, and apparently, all the heads were in their house, they would move around to different places on their own. They would like turn
Yeah.
around and move to different places, and apparently objects would just be thrown around the room mysteriously with nobody doing it. There were just strange poltergeist activities going on with
Yeah.
these heads around.
And the family next door, the Dodd family, also were like, yeah, there's weird stuff going on. We've seen it. One boy's hair was pulled in the middle of the night, and his mother, Nellie, saw a half man, half goat figure leaving the house shortly afterwards.
Can you imagine
So-
Goatman sneaks into your house, pulls your hair, and then runs away? That's just like...
Yeah, is that what happened?
I guess, dude. He was just like, I'm gonna get this kid, I'm gonna prank him, and then just like breaks in,
Oh.
grabs his hair, and runs. So then they were given to Anne Ross, obviously. According to Anne Ross, there was a werewolf that that visited her one time randomly and then proceeded to just walk away, apparently, the moment she saw it. So I don't really know what that was doing, but apparently her daughter also, completely independently of her saying anything, also reported seeing a werewolf in the house a few days later before running away and disappearing. So there are three.
Did she run away and disappear, or did the werewolf
The
run away and
werewolf
disappear?
runs away. So there are three
Okay.
independent instances of human animal things seeing people and then running away after while the heads are present in their house. This apparently has happened multiple times, all of which are independent of one another.
Anne Ross, the Celtic scholar and archaeologist, was very fascinated with Druidism and the cult of the head. Which was a Celtic cult, and they made a lot of stone heads.
Basically, this woman is like, well, I don't really want this going on.
I don't want that.
So she got rid of the heads, and all of a sudden, it stopped. You know, who would have guessed, right? It's crazy. Apparently there is, and I remember reading something about this in the past, there is a correlation. Apparently back in 1904, there's something called the Hexham wolf, which is a wolf that escaped from a zoo and kind of just went on a rampage. Basically, it's another one of those. I mean, we've talked about stories like that in the past. And so the idea was that this wolf they were seeing was like kind of a reincarnation of the Hexham wolf, is like its spirit now, which is pretty interesting. That's kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie.
So it looks like the Hexham wolf killed a whole bunch of sheep, and then eventually they shot it.
Yeah.
However, the guy who likely owned it said that the wolf was way too old to be one of his wolves, and that it didn't really make sense, which I feel like he would have a reason to lie there. He doesn't want to be sued for having a wolf get out and stuff. I think that would make some sense. But it seems to be that a lot of people felt like the wolf that they saw and the wolf that they shot was not the same wolf, and that the wolf that killed the sheep is still at large.
He's still
it's
around
reminding me
today.
of the Beast of Javadin, if that's how.
Oh, that was a fun topic. Did we ever actually get that out in an episode?
We did.
Yeah,
It's
that
on
was
the podcast.
that's
somewhere.
an all-time.
Wait, did you say
favorite.
Beast of Javadin?
Yeah,
yeah, that like giant killer wolf thing that nobody could identify.
Yeah,
and
the
people still
French
don't know what it
werewolf
was.
back in the day.
So these heads, let me get the story straight here. Kids dig up these heads just in the garden. They're just chilling there. Werewolves and weregoats start to appear. There's poltergeist activity. This Anne Ross figure is like, oh yeah, definitely some ancient Celtic mysticism right there. And then when the family gets rid of the heads, all of this stops. And now where are the heads? Like, did they...
That's
It
the
looks
question.
like no one knows what happened to them.
Nobody knows where they are now. Apparently, not long after Ross wanted to get rid of them, a man named Desmond Craigie showed up, and he was like, oh, those heads aren't ancient artifacts. I made them. That was me. He said that he made them back in the 50s, in 1956, but when he was apparently living in that house. Then after this, he made some replicas, and he was like, yeah, see? But the replicas were apparently, as the wiki says, not satisfactorily similar to the original heads. So it's very disputed what's going on. But then after that, you just get hit with this bizarre ending with no context, just 2 citation needed, clarification needed, slapped on the Wikipedia that just says the original heads were later given to another man, but he and the heads vanished and their whereabouts are still unknown. And that's it. That's the best explanation you're going to get for them. Nobody knows where they are these days. Nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows if that guy actually made them. They're just gone. Nobody knows. And so they're still at large. Nobody has proven what's going on, what happened here. It's just...
Well, I also feel like if you're going to make terrible heads, why would you throw them into your garden and bury them? Like, why would you not just throw them
Yeah,
out?
it's a weird thing
They're
to
also
bury them.
they're so spooky. They are
Yeah.
really like
Unless he just has a really creepy, spooky way of molding concrete. Like, maybe he's just really talented in that regard, but
I do want to bring this up because as we were discussing this, Lockman in our Discord posted a couple snippets from the Hexham Wikipedia, which is the town that these things were found in. This doesn't necessarily have significance to the story unless you believe this just adds to the spookiness. There was a riot in Hexham in 1761 where basically people were mad that the criteria for serving in the militia were not right, apparently. And so the soldiers just shot and killed 45 protesters and just mowed everybody
yeah,
down.
sure.
And it was a
why
really
not,
rough,
right?
yeah,
Man.
that's not good at all. But then there's more. Hexham was used as a euphemism for hell for a while, I guess. People would say to Hexham with you on your wassail.
To Hexham on your wassail.
I don't know what a wassail is.
Isn't wassail like the drink?
I don't know, man. They're British, so who knows what they're saying. It might not mean anything. But for a town that its euphemism was hell, and there's so much spooky lore attached to it, it was voted happiest place to live in Britain 2019 and 2021. That just shows you how bad the United Kingdom really is.
Well, have you seen the town of Hexham itself, though? I mean, it looks really nice. I can't lie. Like, I want to go there.
It is a nice looking
It
town.
is
Nice
a
place.
genuinely, like, I know we hate on England a lot here. Like, a lot.
No, I'm going to say, as the guy known for hating on England, that I genuinely think this is a nice looking town.
Yeah, like, I can't hate on Hexham. Like, I'm not gonna lie. This is a
Darn, you're
nice
right.
looking place. Like,
It does look nice.
Yeah, I can't be mad about it. Oh, look, they've got a piece of Hadrian's Wall going through it, too. Like, there you have it. Imagine you live in this town, and then you dig up those spooky stone heads, and then suddenly a werewolf shows up and starts pranking you and your neighbors. Like, dog, like, peak spooky. Like, it makes it even cooler.
It sounds like in the story we have two sketchy claims that we're not sure what to believe. We have a guy saying, yeah, I made those out of concrete. And we have a woman saying, yeah, I found them and Werewolves and Goatman showed up.
Yeah.
And we're like, I don't know, the guy's pretty sketchy. I don't think he actually made the heads. Like, out of the two sketchy claims, I feel like one is more believable than the other. But who knows?
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. I'm not saying that I think that these are definitely Celtic artifacts and that werewolves definitely showed up here. It's very hard to come to any conclusion on, especially because we don't know where they are anymore. That's the biggest thing that annoys me with this. I'm like, can somebody find these things? Like, who has them now? Like,
surely.
Like, come on, y'all. Like, somebody has them in their attic. And that just makes me wonder, have they been having paranormal activity for the past 50 years and just been dealing with it? Like, do they just see werewolves
I don't know.
all
Every
the time?
now and then this goat comes in
Yeah.
and pulls my hair, but then
Yeah,
he
you
leaves,
know,
so I've kind of just
it's
gotten used to it.
obnoxious. Yeah, there's a werewolf. I don't know. He lives in my kitchen, and I try to talk to him, but he just runs away every time. I don't know what to do with him.
I also like the Hexham wolf thing being tied into it. Like, as
Yeah.
far as like creating an interesting mythos, that at least really
Oh yeah,
adds
no,
to it.
that's part of what I like about it.
And again, maybe they're authentic, maybe they're not, but I will say that the other Celtic stone carvings, like the stone carvings of heads, are typically larger.
Yeah.
But they do still look somewhat similar. Like, this is not out of the realm that they could be old ancient Celtic artifacts. Are they haunted and a goat man comes to your house?
Yes.
I'm going to say no, but...
Well, of course you would say that. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that Goatman does show up. There is on the wiki for the Hexham heads, if you go down to the sea also, you'll notice the Hexham wolf and also the Belmez faces is another very short, very simple, spooky lore that I think is really good. This is a really good Halloween spooky. So if you have anything better, by all means, we can talk about something else. But we haven't talked about this yet, and this is a good spooky Halloween lore. This also started in 1971.
Same year as the Hexham heads.
Same year as the Hexham heads, but instead of being in England, it was in Spain. So totally different area of the world there, obviously.
Much better place to live.
A lot more sun, holy. But August 23rd, 1971, Maria Gomez Camara, I'm pretty sure that's how you say her name, claimed that a human face formed spontaneously on her concrete kitchen floor. Maria's husband, Juan Pereira, and their son, Miguel, destroyed the image with a pickaxe and new concrete was laid down.
Wait, did
However,
they start with the pickaxe?
yeah, I think that they
I
just
literally lost my voice.
I think they legitimately saw that and they were like, "Oh, that's messed up," and they just destroyed it. They just straight
Oh,
up,
because it's in the concrete. It's not
yeah,
like dust. Oh, I
yeah.
see.
No, it wasn't dust. Like it wasn't just painted on. It wasn't dust. It was the concrete itself had a random human face just form on it one day, and it was creeping people out. Apparently, it looked kind of messed up, and so they came in there with a pickaxe. They just tore the whole thing down and dumped new concrete on the floor. Lo and behold, a new face came back. Apparently, this wasn't enough. And so, as the story goes, the mayor of Belmez was informed and he forbade the destruction of the new face that formed and instead insisted they take the concrete out and take it in to be studied.
Did they go to the mayor? Like,
Yes.
did they destroy their kitchen floor and the face came back and they were like, all right, Mr. Mayor, you need to evict this tenant of our house? I feel like there are many people I would go to before the mayor of the town, unless I don't know how things are in Spain.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing, but by 1972, apparently hundreds of people were going to the house just to see the faces, and apparently for the next 30 years, the faces continued to appear on the floor. Who knows, right? Who knows what's up with that? That's all according to the story of the family that owns the house. There is obviously a lot of motive for them to claim that these strange things appearing on their floor are spooky and supernatural, so everybody come to my house and see that.
I want to say something to support the story, and then I want to say something to not support the story. People will say there's a ghost in my house, and they'll have people come in and investigate. And even if there is a legitimately spooky phenomena going on there, the people will probably have misattributed a lot of normal things to the ghost, because once you're convinced there's a ghost in your house, every bump in the night is the ghost. So is it possible that the initial face that they saw on the floor was completely there and it was real and it was something spooky, but then after that, everything they see, like, oh, this weird smudge on the carpet, look, it kind of looks like a face.
The Wikipedia only has one picture of the faces, but I would need to see the other faces before.
That's the thing. Yeah, I want to see more. It sounds like the idea isn't just, and suddenly they started noticing other things that looked like faces. It sounds like more what used to just be blank, plain concrete, then suddenly started to look more and more and more like faces. And actually, yeah, if you Google this and look at some of the other faces that were showing up, I would argue that it's very difficult to just look at these and just say, oh no, that's not meant to be a face. Like, you can look at them really easily. Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, these are definitely intentional. Like, somebody is painting these, but then there's a claim. Let me see here. Forgery hypothesis.
It looks like they investigated. It was not paint. Like, they may have used some of the elements used in paint, but it doesn't look like.
But it looks like, no, it looks like they were
Yeah.
confirmed to not be painted on.
Apparently, it was studied by the Society for Psychical Research, which is a fairly, as far as I'm aware, a fairly reputable organization. They actually exposed a lot of psychics and stuff for fraud back in the day because they began to investigate it scientifically. So
Yeah.
they studied this thing.
They're saying that the studies of the faces revealed that no traces of paint were found at any place. It does look like these faces are made of zinc, barium, copper, chromium, phosphorus, and lead.
It looks like in 2014, samples were extracted from the faces with permission from the house owner and concluded the images were not made with any paint. There is no external manipulation or elements in the faces.
So one very, very out there hypothesis that's been put out is the thoughtographic hypothesis. Long story short, there is an idea in parapsychology that houses aren't exactly haunted. It's just that humans leave behind like snapshots of their own thoughts and like mental experiences. And so you're not experiencing like somebody's departed soul when you see the ghostly woman on the staircase. That's like an imprint of their memories coming down the stairs. It's weird.
basically the idea is that you're basically using psychic powers it's basically just physically manifesting what you're thinking, which I'm just going to say right now is either total BS or I have absolutely zero psychic powers, because I've tried this so many times. And I cannot tell you how many times I've stared at the microwave and been like, there's a hot pocket in there. There's a hot pocket in the microwave. Open it up, nothing. Okay, like this. I'm
You've
just
tried to
saying.
manifest your dreams.
It looks like the University of Maryland studied this, though.
Thoughtography?
Yeah, there's a lot of different flavors of this. There's a lot of different ideas about it and stuff. I've just researched these topics a lot because I find them really fascinating. And
Yeah.
a lot of paranormal investigators are of the opinion that potentially you could explain a lot of hauntings and ghostly stuff, even poltergeists, with like, oh, it's actually your thoughts from the past, but you've, walked down that staircase so many times that you've left like a psychic imprint, and sometimes people will see you.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm not super superstitious or anything, right? Just a little stitious.
Right.
But I think that, things that you remember from the past are going to come up, and sometimes your brain isn't going to be able to discern what is real and what is fake based on what you've experienced, and you might feel like you're witnessing something or seeing something that isn't really there. Brains do weird things, right? Like it sounds like after she died, they stopped, from what I've been able to see. So,
Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't actually get to the end of this. So she died in 2004 at the age of 85. After her death, the popular psychic researcher Pedro Amoros tried to discover more thoughtographic appearances in her house. A new wave of Belmes faces thus took place. However, his claims have been debunked in the Spanish media. So he was a sensationalist. Don't trust what he says.
Yeah.
It looks like they came back for a time in 2004 when she died, but then that's been it.
I want to know what it is.
Yeah. It is very interesting. This is what I love. Like, I'm not going to claim outright that there's any one like genre of paranormal stuff that I really, really buy into or believe in, but it's so fascinating. And that's why there's so many, podcasts about it. And we try not to be a strictly like paranormal podcast or anything, but it's so interesting. You can't not dabble in this stuff every once in a while, whether it's the Belmes faces or the Hexham heads.
I love how none of these topics have like a satisfactory conclusion to them.
No,
all
they're
of them
all
are just
so like,
they're just left very open. Like, are we haunted?
I think
don't know.
the conclusion to all of these topics is spooky stuff is cool. We'll always have a fascination with spooky stuff as humans. We've had it since the beginning of time. And happy Halloween, y'all.
Yeah.
Complete left turn here. My wife has crashed the recording. I'm putting the headphones on her head. She's taking over now.
All right. Well, nice knowing you, man.
Hello, deep lore.
How you doing?
How's the lore? What are we talking about? Is this like the Halloween special?
Yeah.
This only makes sense.
I can hear.
The scariest thing we could put in our Deep Lore Boys Halloween episode is a woman. Woman on
you're
podcast.
right, actually. Yeah. Actually, no, you're right.
Instead of women in pants, it's women in podcasts.
That's so stupid. Man.
You know what is pretty spooky? When I was in the 3rd grade, I was terrified of Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Okay, that's fair though. That's fair. I mean,
yep.
Like the music video or
every
just
Halloween,
the song?
they would play it, but like the Just Dance version, thinking, "Oh, it's fun for kids," but it was so spooky.
no, it's too much. I had that with there's this one specific episode of Mythbusters that I remember watching as a kid, and they were trying to like prove if zombies were real or not, and I don't really know what it was.
I don't think they are.
No, that was the thing. They concluded in the episode that zombies were not real and that they were not like physically possible to exist. But I just didn't care about that. I was like, but what if they were wrong? What if they did it wrong? What if they are? And I just couldn't.
Halfway through you explaining that whole thing, Maddie leans over to me and goes, "Do you think I could beatbox?"
Beatboxing on the podcast, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right. I'll see you guys later then.
Here, I'll give you back Jesse.
All right. Nice talking with you.
See you, Maddie.
Guys, she's been holding me hostage. I don't have much time.
Jesse, we gotta save you, man. Okay.
The chains, the manacles around my ankles are really starting to hurt.
Oh,
guys, help.
I don't appreciate that.
Oh no.
It might be over. It might be over for us.
Hey again, it's Jesse. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Deep Lore Boys podcast. If you did, leave a like, leave a review, subscribe for more episodes, share it with a friend. You know the stuff. Thanks for listening, and I hope your day is nothing short of interesting. Take care.
I'm gonna go post that one on twitter.com.